Hello everyone, it's Lindsay, and today I'm back with another process video using the July Faith Art Box. This is Abundantly More. My previous video, I showed you how I took the reflection questions and put them into a growth journal, and I'm answering everything over there, which kind of frees me up to have some more fun in my journaling Bible. So I'm not so concerned about trying to get these reflection questions written down in my Bible. I can just kind of play and have some journaling spots from some prayer journaling and things like that. So I'm going to be journaling right in the key passage for this month's kit. This is Matthew 14 verses 13 through 21. We're looking at the story where Jesus feeds the 5,000. So I know you've seen lots of inspiration from the team so far, lots of fish and scales, and I'm jumping on that bandwagon. We got to have all the fish, all the scales, but I wanted to show you something a little bit different today. So I am going to be doing some ink blending with the Creative Retreat inks, very similar to what I did in my journal using gelatos. I'm going to do a similar color ombre situation here, but I'm going to show you a different way to do that so you have some options. But I'm also going to play with some perfect pearls. I thought this would be fun to add some like pearlescent scales to the page. So I wanted to show you how I'm going to do that in the background. And then I'm just going to have a simple title, and then it's going to be a little tip up for a prayer, and we're going to keep it fairly simple. So let me go ahead and put you guys on fast forward, and we'll put together this entry in Matthew. Okay, so we're going to start with that ink blended background. It's a rainbow, not ombre. I misspoke. But anyways, I'm going to be blending with a blush brush. Yep, a makeup brush. For those of you who are new to this channel or new to following me, you probably haven't seen this, but this is something I showed years ago, and I know many people have kind of picked up on it. I like using the blending foams and the domed blending tools for certain projects and certain looks, but when I'm working in my Bible and I want a very soft blended background, these blush brushes get the job done. They're from the dollar stores. They're only $1, very inexpensive. And so what I'm doing is I'm actually picking up some of the ink. I've got Rose Corsage, Golden Sunkiss, and Mermaid Teal. I'm picking up a little bit of the ink on the brush, and initially I'm very lightly brushing it onto the page in a circular motion. And then as the ink kind of gets off of the brush, I kind of push a little bit harder to get the blend. I am overlapping the colors just a little bit. You'll see I started with the teal at the bottom, the pink at the top, and then I'm coming back in with the yellow and letting that overlap. So I get kind of a brighter green and a deeper orange to give you that kind of faded rainbow look. Again, the blush brushes are great for blending inks in your Bible to get that really soft look. Another trick for getting a good blend is adding a little bit of water. So I sprayed some water on there, and then I'm using a paper towel to pick up any excess ink. These inks from Creative Retreat are not necessarily water reactive like Distress inks, but they do move a little bit. And so just by adding a little bit of water, I found kind of softens the blend even more. And then I made sure to hit that with my heat tool until it was 100% dry. You want this page bone dry. And then I'm going over the top of it with my EK Success powder tool. I'm doing all of this because perfect pearls stick to anything that are wet or sticky. And so I want to make sure it's only sticking to the stamped areas. Now, I'm kind of deciding whether I want to do the solid scales or the outline. And then I discovered that my perfect medium, this is a clear sticky ink that goes with perfect pearls. My ink pad disintegrated. I've had it for a few years. It's toast. So I got rid of that, scrapped that, made some changes. So I'm going in with actually the outline of the fish scales, and I'm just using some embossing ink. This is also a clear sticky ink, and I found that it works pretty comparable to perfect medium. You can't really see it when I'm stamping because it's clear ink. But you want to work pretty quickly because this does dry after a couple minutes. And then I swapped out the pearl color for the gold perfect pearls. And they come with a little brush, but you can also just use like a little fluffy eyeshadow brush. And I'm picking up some of the pigment, kind of swirling it in the lid you see there to get any excess off, and then lightly kind of swirling it over my stamped areas. And because it's a clear sticky ink, it grabs a hold of this shimmery pigment and holds onto it. And there's no like texture. It's very, very smooth, and you can see it's really reflective. It's really pretty. But the Perfect Pearls do have a binder in them. And so you do need to lightly mist your project with some water, just plain clean water. I kind of hold it a few inches away from the page, lightly mist the entire page, and then dry it. The water activates the binder that is in the Perfect Pearls, and that's what makes them permanent so that they don't rub off. If you skip that step, you may have some issues with it rubbing away and just disappearing. So once you spray it with water, dry it, it's good to go. It's not going to move anywhere. So now that is the background. I love how you have the like shimmery scales. I decided to add a little bit of white splatter using Distress Stain, kind of like bubbles, and just to kind of add some more texture to the background, and made sure that was good and dry. So now we can move on to my tip-in piece. I have a ton of journaling cards in my stash. I will link where I get most of them from down below for you guys. And this really, I love using journaling cards for this because you can create elaborate, fun, textured backgrounds. And sometimes it's kind of hard to stamp on it or write on it. And so this is where journaling cards come in handy. So I can create my title, do my stamping on the card. It also gives me a hidden prayer journaling spot. So I'm going to create a little tip in here. And it's just doesn't add a whole lot of bulk, but gives me some additional room to journal that's a little more private. So I pulled out some stickers from the kit this month. You'll see I'm actually using the stencil to stage my stickers. They will stick to the stencil, so they're just kind of lightly setting on there. But that way I can make sure everything's nice and centered on my card there. So it says, I have received abundantly more than I could ask or seek. And I love just, you get the surface level look at the story of Jesus feeding, the people that came to watch him preach. But more than that is that they just asked to be fed, but in the very end, there was leftovers. And so often, we get caught up in focusing on what we don't have instead of paying attention to the abundance that God has given us. There's so much in my life that is more than I could ever dream of or ask for. And so I need to give praise to God for that. And so that's what I will be doing in my prayer journaling on the back of that card there. I just went ahead and kind of boxed off the passage that I'm journaling in. And that is it. A super simple entry with a lot of impact. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave those down below. You can check out the description box below the video for links to everything that I used today. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And until next time, thank you so much. Bye-bye.